gentlemen, welcome back and the final episode of the 2024 season of Full Steam Ahead. I'm your host Zo with co-host Cantu on the other side. We talked about it. It could be a winnable series for the Astros, or it could be one of those series that's going to end the season. And 2-game sweep from the Detroit Tigers in this American League Wild Card Series. AJ Hinch, the guy that helped the Astros go to the postseason in their first time since 2005, just ended the Astros season, and they're not going to the ALCS for 8th consecutive year. Gotta love baseball.
I don't know if you ever heard that quote, but I think many Astros fans could relate to this. Have you ever seen it's either you die a hero or live long enough to be a villain? I think that's what Astros fans are feeling for AJ Hinch.
I mean, give Hinch credit and give the whole Tigers team credit.
Well-managed game and well-played game, both pitching, offensive-wise for the Tigers. It was unbelievable.
Players, coaches, I mean, everything went the Tigers' way. And that's a thing when you're playing against a hot team like the Tigers, and you've said it multiple times. They remind you of the 2019 Nationals. Every wild card team since they expanded the wild card has gone on to the World Series. We're not saying the Tigers are going to go to the World Series. There might be a chance. The way that they're playing right now, the way that Tarik Skubal is pitching right now, I mean, there's a slight chance, but it just shows what the wild card teams are doing right now. The Tigers, for instance, just knocked off the Astros. Royals just went over there to Camden Yards at Oriole Park, just defeated the Orioles over there, and then
the Mets
are winning 3-2.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like I actually forgot if I told you off air or in the podcast, but the Tigers was a team where they just got hot right away, and they were gonna battle tooth and nail. And like I said, I made that comparison because there's a team that's a team you did not want to face. Just because obviously they have Tarik Skubal on the other end for game one.
Cy Young winner.
Yeah.
That's gonna be
but the way they game plan, the grit, the resilience that they have, that although they may seem like the underdog to many people's eyes, they don't play like one. And they take that title and run with it. They're gonna be like, they're the underdogs, like they're gonna show you what underdogs are gonna do, and that's exactly what happened here. They did not back down from the Astros.
Yeah, and I don't know if you saw a graphic on there. I don't know who had posted. I just saw it on social. But the Tigers as a whole in that 26-man roster, combined money-wise, is $18.8 million. Josh Hader's contract itself, $19 million.
Yeah. And I think you mentioned it last podcast too. The Tigers and the Astros since June 1st were the two hottest teams. And something was gonna have to budge, and the Astros were the one. I know I didn't say this, and we'll talk about it right now, but I thought about it. And it was in the back of my mind. And honestly, I did not see Framber Valdez going toe-to-toe with Tarik Skubal.
I mean, it wasn't. It wasn't. Tarik Skubal, 6 innings. Framber Valdez, 4 and I believe it's a third.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll talk about it here in a minute on the Jackets. We got the Wild Card Series recap. What went wrong? Game 1, Game 2. Detroit pitching numbers. Alex Bregman's future. The offseason and around the horn. But yeah, I mean, credit to you. You said you didn't want to play the Tigers. I said for the Astros, what favorable matchup would be better for them, and I said the Tigers just for the fact because the Royals you just saw the game over there. I mean, they put Cole Reagans went toe to toe with Corbin Burns, did a phenomenal job. Same thing goes for Seth Lugo. That's a great pitching rotation you don't want to face in the postseason. And with Detroit. And I'm not saying they were an easy team because you just saw it right there. They just swept the Astros in a 2-game sweep. But you go against Tarik Skubal. If there's a way you could get him out of that game, you go to that bullpen, and that's what they did. They got to the bullpen in that last inning. I mean, it was just too late for them to do it. But look what happened today's game. They only scored 1 run until the 8th inning, until everything imploded at the end. So, I mean, if you told me this in the beginning of the season that the Astros and the Tigers were going to face in a wild card series, I would have laughed at you. But That's the beauty of baseball.
I think
You're gonna know what teams are gonna make it, and you just don't know what teams are gonna be hot at the right time.
I think what the wild card series has been proving over the years is that it's vitally important to get that bye.
Yes.
Because those teams, again, they take their title to heart and they're trying to prove people wrong, and they will battle tooth and nail for a chance to be in the LDS.
That's that little tiger pun you're going there, tooth and nail, because I mean that the ferocious tigers do have big teeth. Of course, their nails are sharp as hell.
You know what? If it was not on purpose. It was just it just happened.
Yes. Well, we got a crazy series. Angel's going to talk about it before we get everything started. Joshua, what's going on? He's not doing too well. Really disappointed and sad. Tony, on the other hand, at least LMJ will be back in May, and his team is KC to win it all to beat the Yankees. What in the Yankees face? No. We had this conversation last.
That's correct. It'll be Tigers AO Central battle, Tigers versus Guardians, and then KC versus Yankees. How about that? 3 AO Central teams in the Final Four.
For people that can't read it, man, I feel bad for Mike Elias and Baltimore. 2 sweeps in a row by Tony Yayo. Yeah, I don't know, man. The offense just caught cold at the wrong time. Do you see this is a balance right there? Yeah. Baltimore was one of the best teams the whole season, and then they got cold at the last month. Same goes, for the Tigers. Tigers were not playing good baseball in the beginning, and they're playing one of the best baseball in their whole entire season.
Like the Rays last year, remember they beat tied the record for most wins and started like a month or something like start the season and caught a cold. Baseball's a game like that.
I'm telling you, it's like you seen George Kittle on that receiver on Netflix, that show. He's man, God, you gotta love football. This is the same thing as baseball. One bad mistake, one error, giving another team an extra chance.
Extra base.
An extra base. And it just goes to show you right there.
Yeah. But let's go ahead and figure out what went wrong. It's gonna be so you see the 3 objectives, what went wrong, game 1, game 2, and then Detroit pitching numbers. It's all combined into one. Just broke it down for you. But a lot of these went wrong for the Astros. First game pitching. Well, I would say first game starting pitching, second game bullpen, and then just the offense overall still can't hit at Minute Maid Park. I think they have lost 7 straight. If I'm not mistaken, 7 straight games at home dating back to the last postseason. Which, went too many postseason games, not being able to win at home. I think that's very crucial. Yes, winning on the road is important, but you got to be able to win at your home ballpark in order to do something. But let's start with Framber Valdez. He was not sharp. And I do want to credit the Detroit Tigers office because they came in there with a plan and they executed. But let me go touch on Framber Valdez's numbers and I'll tell you what that plan was. Valdez was pitched 4 in the 3rd inning, 7 hits, 3 runs, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts, 78 pitches, 48 of them were strikes. He threw a sinker 32 times, curveball 27 times, slider 10, changeup 9. He threw the Tigers swung 11 times at the sinker, 0 whiffs on that one. And then a big factor that is that the sinkers were either missing way outside, way inside, like way out of the strike zone. And when they were in the strike zone, they were out over the plate. And Tigers did a really good job of laying off that curveball. Now, going off that plan, if you look at the story I wrote about Wenzel Perez, there's he kind of told me because I asked him, how hard is it to hit a pitcher like Framber Valdez, who's been great? How were you able to get a hit off him? And he was like, I was looking for a sinker. And if you notice, a lot of the Tigers were not offering at that breaking ball, unless it was a hanger. That's the only time they swung. But they were not really offering at that curveball. And they were waiting for sinkers to hit it up the middle the other way. If you look at those 3 runs that they did in the 2nd inning, all those hits were up the middle. Wenzel Perez took it the other way. Verling, Rogers, and I forgot the other guy's name.
I got it right here.
Well, Sweeney.
Yeah.
all hit the sinker up the middle
Mhm.
for a base hit. Like they did a phenomenal job of executing their game plan. They knew what they wanted from Framber. They knew what they were gonna get, and they executed to perfectly.
Yeah, and even Framber Valdez too on his post game, they had asked him about it. I mean, they were not swinging out of the strike zone. That like the Tigers were not swinging out of the strike zone. And you, like you said, you talked to Winston Perez. He didn't play game 2, but he did play that game 1 against the Tigers. You basically told everybody what their game plan was against Framber Valdez. And Framber even had mentioned he's like, well, they weren't hitting none of the things, so they made an adjustment. I'm gonna stick to my game plan at the end of the day, and that's what he did. Just and the other thing too, I mean, it was just in the second inning. After that,
Yeah.
I mean, he really couldn't. He didn't have a 1-2-3 inning since the first inning.
No, and he pitched him.
And he only pitched 4 in the third. That's what I was going to mention.
Yeah, I mean, although he didn't allow any runs after the second inning, he did pitch himself into trouble, like the walks, and I think would have countered the game plan if he was able to locate that curveball in the corners.
Mm-hmm.
They would have no choice but to start swinging at them, and then that's when you start expanding the zone a little bit. But the fact that he couldn't nibble the corners, the fact that he couldn't locate that sinker, I think it made it a little easier for them at the plate.
Yeah, you just got to tip your cap to the Tigers hitters, man. So you didn't.
Yeah.
You can't really do nothing about that. That's just great plate discipline at the plate. Great game planning as well. Like you were saying, like we've already credited AJ Hinch and his staff what they did. They had a game plan going into the game, and sure enough, it worked out. Another thing to mention too, I mean, that 9-hole hitter has always been like a big kryptonite for the Astros this season, and bottom of the lineup got the runs in for the Tigers. Yeah, it wasn't big superstar names like a Riley Green that won that played in the All-Star game. It was Jake Rogers, Trey Sweeney, and Matt Vierling.
Yeah. So, the bottom of the order guys, and that's what like you said, that's what there's maybe I remember talking about it one time where we credited the bottom of the lineup for coming through, but other than that, it was pretty hard to get some production out of there.
Yeah, I mean, and then to credit them too again one more time, 2-out hitting. They did a great job in 2-out situational hitting. Like you said, everything was up the middle.
Yeah,
everything was up the middle. Credit to them. That's all you got to do. If you're a Nationals fan, you got to tip your cap to them. They did a really good job. So they really had a great game plan. They executed really well.
And it also didn't help having Tarik Skubal on the other side. The Astros couldn't do much about him. Like literally, we talked about this. It was the first pitcher to fall to first. Was the pitcher was going to lose his game, and unfortunately for Astros fans, it was Framber Valdez. Because Tarik Skubal, the energy was there, the adrenaline was there. He was pumped. Like I think he was so pumped. He was pumping 100-mile-per-hour fastballs in the fifth inning. Sorry, in the sixth inning too. But Skubal had 6 innings pitched, 4 hits, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts. This is a big one. 2 5-pitch innings in the first and in the fifth. We talked about this before the series started. Is that the Astros had to let Tarik Skubal work. Now there were some great at bats. Yanier Diaz had a great at bat. Like they worked the count. However, not everybody was doing that. There were the first strike they saw, which is fair. A guy Tarik Skubal is not going to make too many mistakes, right? You take advantage of that, but you got to kind of 5-pitch inning in the first inning. It's not going to cut it. Now he could have honestly gone more. He only threw 70. I think 72 pitches.
88.
88 pitches. I think he could have gone one more, but he was pulled because of cramps in the 6th inning. I don't know if you saw the trainer came out prior to him finishing the 6th inning, but they actually couldn't muster much runs. 2% with runners in scoring position, 8 left on base. Tarik Skubal just proved on the national television why he was a 2024 Triple Crown winner and why he could potentially win a Cy Young, because he was amazing.
Yeah, before I talk about Skubal, real quick, going back to Framber, the numbers from the last 3 starts in 23, it's almost the same as in 24. 23 against the Rangers in I think it was game 6, 5 innings, 5 hits, 3 earned runs, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts. The first game or game 2 against the Rangers.
So, but there's like a background noise coming from your mic.
Is it a background?
Yeah, because I muted myself and it's still going.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but it's like some staticky going on in the back.
Maybe it's my drink. I got the Topo Chico. You already know me. How about now?
Perfect.
Perfect. Okay, it was that. It was this the bubbly of the mineral water and all that great stuff.
Never mind, not perfect no more.
Not?
No.
How about now? I don't know what to. Okay, how about now?
There we go.
Sorry about that, everybody. But yeah, going back to the stat line of the last 3 starts from Framber real quick. Did you hear that really well? The Rangers one?
I would repeat it.
Okay, real quick. Rangers game 6 game 6, 5 innings, 5 hits, 3 earned runs, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts. Game 1 against the Rangers, 2 and 2/3, 7 hits, 4 earned runs, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts, and then Minnesota, 4 and a third, 7 hits, 5 earned runs, 3 walks, 5 strikeouts. So Framber Valdez has continued to struggle in the postseason. And I mean, honestly, when you look at that stat line, it isn't bad. If he goes and gets what 3, 5, is it 8 outs? I'm doing the math in my head. I think if he gets 8 more outs, it's a quality start.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just the offense. But I'm just giving the background of Framber Valdez's pitches throughout the postseason from last year and this year. It just hasn't been really Framber like the second half he was this season. So that was off Framber. But Tarik Skubal, like you said, my gosh, 2 5-pitch innings. I mean, the Astros just didn't do a really good job with their at bats. And like you mentioned, the only guy I think that had the best at bats against Skubal, besides one at bat from Yainer Diaz, was Alex Bregman. Yeah. Alex Bregman had the best at bats, and we had talked about this off air throughout the whole postseason, throughout these really just the 2 games in the series. But I broke down the pitches that Skubal had threw from each inning. So the first inning, he only threw 5. Second inning, he only threw 10. Third inning, the Astros started kind of taking a little bit more pitches, fouling them off, better at bats, 18 pitches. Fourth inning, that's when it gets better for them. But them are credit to Alex Bregman and Yainer Diaz, both having 9 pitch at bats just from 2 batters. That was 29 pitches in the fourth. Going back to the 5th inning, he only threw 5, and then the 6th inning, his last inning, was 21. So honestly, and I told you this too, if he doesn't really pitch that 5th inning, throwing like 5 pitches, there's a chance that he could have gotten out of the 6th inning with 5 1/3, 5 2/3. It just depended. And plus, he was battling cramps, like you had mentioned. But I mean, the dude is a dog. The dude is a dog. I mean, looking at the video of ESPN, the telecast and everything, going off the mound, pumping, screaming, yelling, looking at the Astros dugout. The guy just looked like he wanted it more. Yeah. That's how it looked.
Speaking of, go ahead, finish.
And Skubal, with all his pitches, Astros hitters, like you had mentioned, off balance, just couldn't get nothing going. Sinker, changeup, sinker, changeup, slurve, and the 4-seamer. I mean, everything was just working out for him. Do you want to say something before I go to the ABs of the Astros?
Yeah, you mentioned energy. That energy at Minute Maid Park was non-existent. Honestly, it from the fans. You can kind of see it later in the game, and in game 2 as well. But for the Astros dugout too, I mean, I'm not gonna say there was no energy from the dugout. Never mind, trust that. But just like the fans in general, like it was kind of like it was pretty much an ordinary game. That's what it mid-June game. Yeah, regular season game. It's maybe because it was a 1 o'clock game. A lot of people were at work, but it felt like an ordinary game.
Yeah, kind of. Oh, and then Tony, real quick, hard to bring energy to a midday event. I'm guessing that's what he meant to say, event instead of even. But yeah, I mean, fans were in and out of the game both games. The beginning of the game, there was hardly any fans in the seats, but like he was mentioned, like Tony had mentioned, like you had mentioned, 1 o'clock, 1:32. We even said this in the last episode, the Cy Young winner that's probably going to win in the American League going against a guy that's probably going to be 3rd or 2nd in the Cy Young voting. Yeah, that I didn't like that for the fact of 132. No, you can't do that to that game. But moving on to real quick with them at bats with Skubal. Astros only had 3 quality at bats against Tarik, like I had mentioned, Alex Bregman, Yainer Diaz. 9-pitch line out to right for Breggs. Yainer Diaz had an 0-2 count, made it into a walk with that 9-pitch at bat. And then Bregman again, an 8-pitch single, barely under that yellow line in the Crawford boxes. Everybody thought that was gone, and it just missed clearing the wall. But to add on to more of these stats, Astros hitters only had 2 hard hits off of Skubal. Yordan Alvarez missile, 114 miles per hour off the bat, up the middle, and Alex Bregman's 99 single off the Crawford boxes.
And most of the Astros hitters, too, to add to that, were hitting in pitcher-friendly counts. How many times were the Astros 0-1, 0-2, and had to battle back in the bat? So that contributed a lot to those quality at bats. A lot of the times they're being super aggressive and falling behind themselves, which is a fact, I think. Basically, a recipe for success for Tarik Skubal.
Yeah, hits over 90 miles per hour, though, real quick. Yainer, 96. Bregman had one over 92. And Jake Myers had one at 97. So I think he only allowed 4 hits, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 4 hits. Yeah.
Also, credit Jake Rogers too for calling a heck of a game. I was at the post conference for Tarik Skubal, and he credited Jake Rogers for calling a game. He said he shook him off one time, and that was when he got hit in the hand. And he was like, he said, I shook him off one time and then got drilled and almost left the game. So that's the last time he shook him off, is what he said. So
that Yainer 96 mile per hour was that ball that came right back at him.
Yeah.
But the hitters real quick for the Astros, 8 men left on base. Astros hitters struck out 10 times in that game. The Tigers struck out 10 times in that game too. So look at that difference. Tigers 10 strikeouts, put up quality at bats at the end. Astros, not that many quality at bats, and literally had better at bats at the end of the game in the 9th.
Yeah.
So,
and much really didn't fare for game 2, as you can see now. Pretty remarkable stuff though for Hunter Brown. I think he pitched the jam. Just went on to show that he is a big game pitcher, because Hunter Brown kept the Astros in the game. Hunter Brown gave him a chance to win the game.
Yeah.
He just didn't have any run support. That's literally what it was. 5 2/3, 2 hits, 1 run, 2 walks, 9 strikeouts from Hunter Brown, 99 pitches, 65 strikes, and how many at the Tiger hit was 4. The way he worked the counts, tiny fastballs, timely off speed. And he only made 1 mistake, and that was a home run he allowed. I believe it was Parker Meadows. But that was the only mistake he did. He pitched great. Now the offense struggled again in the bullpen game. I don't know if you said this to me off air or during the podcast, but you called that the Astros kind of struggle with bullpen games, and you showed that they're 5 hits.
Last episode.
5 hits. They've only scored 2 runs in the 7. That's because Jackson Jobe didn't have his stuff. He just was struggling on the mound. 1 for 6 in running in scoring position, 6 left on base. Now, again, I was watching the game. Alex Bregman, again, in game 2, I feel like was one of the only guys that Astros fans could feel confident that when he came up to hit, something good could have happened. And he tagged some pretty good pitches. They were just right at people. And I think Yordan Alvarez wasn't 100%, so I didn't really expect much from him. But guys like Kyle Tucker, Jose Altuve, Yainer Diaz needed to kind of help around. And I think when those guys came up, it's just like a little gut feeling right there. It's just like, oh man, it's gonna be kind of tough. But when Alex Bregman came in, like a bunch of confidence, what was high that something could get done.
Yeah. Going to Hunter Brown real quick, 16 swing and misses. That's really great. His fastball just looked really outstanding. Velocity was there,
Oh yeah,
pumping really gas.
uptick in that.
Yeah, so Hunter Brown, it's unfortunate the Astros offense couldn't get going, but a positive is, my God, the kid first postseason start, he showed out. He
Oh, yeah,
honestly
absolutely.
showed out. And if he didn't walk that last batter, there's a possibility that not AJ, Joe Espada gives him that opportunity to go get that last batter. Because if you remember, if not the first inning, the second inning, Jose Altuve did have a throwing error to Caratini coming off
Yeah.
that bag. Made Hunter Brown throw 7 extra pitches. So
Mhm.
think about that. 99 minus 7, 92. So best believe Espada will gave him another shot to complete 6 to make it a quality start. And credit to Parker Meadows too on that home run.
Yeah.
If you go back and look where that pitch was at, it's at his hands. It's out of the strike zone. You tip your cap at that point. It was just a great swing on it, and luckily he hit the foul pole for the Tigers. Obviously, it won't be Chick-fil-A for the Astros or for the city of Houston tomorrow, but yeah, I mean that foul pole and right too. That, I don't know if I told you this. It's like PTSD for Astro fans seeing that in 2019, hearing that ricochet off that pole. But yeah, credit to Hunter Brown, give him his flowers, and like you were saying, the offense real quick. I saw this. Altuve and Tucker 1 for 8 combined, an RBI, 3 strikeouts and a walk. Altuve was 1 for 7, and Tucker was 0 for 7. Tucker's OPS in the postseason right now is under 700.
I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah, Jose Altuve though, I will say this: yes, he is a very aggressive hitter, but there's both at bats for both these guys, really, I would say. And that came into the 7th inning, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 7th inning. Altuve goes after the first pitch and gets an RBI sacrifice fly from Jerry Pena because of his speed. But my gosh, it was short. It was a very quick throw. Luckily, if you go look at the replay, Matt Vierling kind of double pumps trying to get a grip of the baseball, and Pena scores. If you're Altuve, in my opinion, you probably take a ball here and there, but he didn't. And I don't know if Jackson Jobe was still the pitcher at that time. I could be wrong, but that happens. And then Kyle Tucker runners on first and third, 1 out. You would have to find a way to hit that ball in the air. Hit that ball in the air, get a sacrifice fly, 4-2 game. And I think it's a different outcome if that happens, I say.
Yeah, absolutely. But let's go break down the Astros bullpen because Joe Espada played his best hand. Brian Abreu, Ryan Pressly, Josh Hader. That's what many considered a 3-headed monster going into the regular season, just because you saw what Brian Abreu did last year. The Ryan Pressly's stats throughout the years, and Josh Hader, who's just been
Ryan Pressly's postseason numbers are insane.
Yeah,
I don't know if you've never seen those. 14 for 14
yeah, but
in save opportunities.
Yeah, I was gonna mention that.
My fault.
Yeah,
Sorry about
no, it's all good. No, it's all good. So Brian Abreu, I mean, did what he had to do. An inning in it, one in the third, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts. But this is where it gets a little dicey. Like Lorenzo said, Ryan Pressly in the postseason, immaculate. 14 saves. However, he does not have it this game. Pressly, 2/3 of an innings, 2 hits, 3 runs, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts. Hader, who had just thrown over 15 pitches a day before, allowed 3 hits, 1 run, 2 walks. Now, a lot of people are saying Joe Espada got outmanaged, but I mean, that's the guys. Those are his guys that he was going to count on. Those are the guys that he kind of throughout the season. Those are the guys that had to get the job done. Obviously, Ryan Pressly, Josh Hader didn't have it today. There's not much you can do on that end, but now there shouldn't get with those decisions, putting those 3 guys, Spot shouldn't get anything, because I'm sure, say he would have put Spencer Arrighetti instead of Pressly, or say he would have put Michael King instead of, then the talk, he would have been the talk of the town.
Brian King.
Yeah, Brian King, sorry. He would have been the talk of the town, right? But the fact that he put his 3 guys, I mean, he played his chips, lost. Oh, well, but yeah, I mean, but those are the guys that they're going to rely next year. And I'm sure if they have an opportunity like this, it'll be a different outcome.
Yeah, and that's what makes me go back to that point with Kyle Tucker. That is a very important at bat for him to get a sac fly, and it'll be a 4-2 game.
Yeah.
Now, Presley was removed after walking Colt Keith. If that happens, like if he doesn't give up that walk, he'll face Spencer Torkelson. Or Spencer Torkelson. If Tucker gets that RBI, it's a 4-2 game. The double from what you call its name, I think it was Matt Vierlinger, Kerry Carpenter, whoever had that. That changes the whole game. It's a 4-3 game. Do you give Presley that opportunity to go against Torkelson? I'm not sure. But if I'm in a spot of shoes and it was a 4-3 game, runner on second for Presley to go against Torkelson, I'd give him that opportunity. But everything changed because it was a tied game, and he brings in Hader. Hader walks Torkelson, and then that's when everything went bonkers with Andy Ibanez hitting that base clearing double.
Bremen Tigers had it best. Both the Astros and Tigers had bases loaded.
Yes.
And consecutive innings, right? Mm-hmm. Obviously, the Astros bottom of second, bottom of seventh, and the Tigers top of eighth. Astros sac fly and fielder's choice. Tigers base clearing double. That's literally what the difference was. Like the fact that the Tigers clutch hitting helped them along the way, and the Astros couldn't get that one hit, couldn't get that ball to drop to create a rally, and that was literally that's all she wrote there.
But that's what I'm saying. John Singleton, bases loaded. I'm not saying Singleton wasn't a perfect, the perfect guy to put up to the plate, because you're putting in the lefty against a righty. Mm-hmm. Chas McCormick did have that great at bat before that fielder's choice. McCormick had a ground out to short and then had a fielder's choice, beating that throw out to first base. Yes, I would have done the same thing. I think I would bring in John Singleton, a lefty, to go against a righty with a bases loaded situation. But my point is, John Singleton, you're at the top of the order. You got your 1, 2, 3 coming up after Singleton. You would think right there, you would put your chips on the table if you had to rely on a Jose Altuve base hit to bring in a run in, which he did, but it wasn't a base hit. It was a sac fly. And then Kyle Tucker, the same thing. You would put your chips onto the table knowing that Kyle Tucker has a chance to give you more insurance runs to extend that lead.
Yeah. So there you guys.
It's just a different outcome. I mean, I could go real quick through this list of pitchers because AJ Hinch unloaded 7 pitchers in this game. Tyler Holton threw 18 pitches through an inning. Brennan Hanafy, 34 pitches, an inning and 2/3. Brant Herter, 29 pitches, an inning and 2/3. Bo Brisky, who pitched yesterday too for the Tigers, and Holton as well, he threw 14 pitches, an inning and 2/3. Jackson Jobe, 15 pitches, which is the Tigers' number 2 prospect in their farm system. It was a rookie, so it happens. Sean Gunther, I didn't get his pitch count, and then Will Vest. Think about it too. If the Astros would have gotten to, I think it was Gunther, then the Tigers are going to be trying to figure out who's going to be their pitcher tomorrow and how long can they throw this pitcher out.
Gunther was.
Go ahead.
Gunther was 13 pitches. Vest was 7 pitches.
7 pitches for Vest, just for the fact in the 9th inning already to close the game out. Sean Gunther as well, but AJ Hinch would have had just 4 pitchers left. Casey Mize, which he hadn't thrown. Reese Olson's another guy that hadn't thrown. Ty Madden, I'm not sure if he threw. I don't think he did. And Jason Foley, who threw yesterday. So the Astros had plenty of opportunities to get to that Tigers bullpen. And, in my opinion, if they did get to the Tigers bullpen this game and win this game, the Astros are in the front seat looking to Cleveland, Ohio, because they had Yusei Kikuchi on the mound in game 3.
Okay. So we have some comments here. Why take out Abreu? It's depressing that the Astros didn't win a single postseason game. And ESPN cursed by having Michael K call games. So, I mean, again, I think Espada played his hand right. It's just unfortunately, he put his best three guys and it just didn't work out.
Yeah, it just didn't. That's what I said. You got to credit the Tigers. The Tigers just played better baseball. AJ Hinch managed a hell of a game. You got to give credit to those guys. The Tigers did a really good freaking job. They did a really great job. I don't think Astro fans are going to like hearing that, but it's the truth. They did I would say effing, but they did a fantastic job.
And get ready for, in my opinion, very low scoring game between the Guardians and the Tigers, both with great pitching. I had advantage Astros, so I can't say advantage Guardians with the lineup, but it's gonna be a really good one too.
Think about it though, too. Guardians don't really have a starting pitcher besides Tanner Bibby right now. I would say Tanner Bibby. That's how you say that name. I've heard it now, but they're gonna have him. Tarik Skubal is gonna be that guy. I think both Guardians have more starting pitchers compared to the Tigers. And if you're the Tigers, you better get to that starter quick. Then they can empty out that bullpen ASAP in that 5-game series.
Yeah. But a lot of analytical teams there. Was it Stephen Vogt versus AJ Hinch in that one?
Yeah. So. And then to end off this wild card series recap, what do you think about AJ Hinch saying, "I'm glad I'm on the other side of that foul pole"?
Yeah. I forgot I was going to bring that up. Yeah. I mean, it's true. I'm sure he does a lot better now.
I'm telling you, you gotta love baseball, man. You got to love baseball. Baseball full circle moment for AJ Hinch. I mean, it was a great series. It was a great series for both teams. Obviously, it wasn't really great for the Astros, but yeah, I mean, you're seeing an exciting young club. We got a bright future, honestly, with the Tigers now.
Mm-hmm. And so is Hunter Brown. I think Hunter Brown
too. Yeah,
has a bright future with the Astros. But I think it's time to move on to our other topics.
And that is Alex Bregman's future.
Ooh, spicy.
Alex Bregman's last out was to Andy Ibanez at third base. Third baseman hit to another third baseman. Ground out. And obviously got out. And, of course, everybody doesn't know Alex Bregman's future. There's a lot of people that think that that's the last time he's going to be playing in an Astros uniform. There's a lot of people that may think that there's still a chance that it could be an Astro after this season, but it's too hard to tell because this is the first time he's ever been a free agent. Reminding everybody, Jeff Luhnow did sign him to that 5-year contract, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, in 17 or 18, if I'm not mistaken. I don't have the number right in front of me, but I mean, after the loss, I mean, a lot of Astros just, the players themselves were just given handshakes and hugs. Obviously it was not the season that they were hoping. They were hoping that it continue on, but it just didn't happen for them. And the biggest storyline being Alex Bregman. What's going to be happening to his future? Is he going to continue to be in the Astros golden era of baseball, or is he going to go and test the free agency and test the market and see if he goes to another team, knowing that his agent is no other than Scott Boras, one of the most notable agents in baseball right now. So got a few quotes from Alex Bregman on his future. Quote, this is from Bregman. He's like, "Yeah, I haven't even had the chance to process this. I was planning on being here tomorrow." That just right there, before I continue the quote, that's Alex Bregman being Alex Bregman. Baseball man. Going back to the quote, "Just letting Scott Boras handle that this offseason. I haven't really thought about it. I was being serious when I said that earlier during the year. A lot of focus on baseball and competing every game. Been fortunate enough to win a lot here over the last 9 years. It's been an honor to play in front of these fans and compete for this city." End quote. And then this was from Brian McTaggart on Alex Bregman addressing the team after the game. Like I said, everybody was kind of in that down mood, and handshakes all around, hugs all around. And quote, this from Chas McCormick. He said he loved playing with us and loved how resilient we were. Before I move on to what he says, what he's going to love about, playing in Houston, I will say this from Bregman. This is what Bregman had mentioned. I don't have the quote exactly in front of me, but I do remember him saying the biggest thing and the best thing apart about this season with this team is seeing the young guys grow. He saw Hunter Brown. He saw Spencer Arrighetti. He saw Ronel Blanco. He got to see young players grow to like Hunter Brown. This is the perfect example. Guy that was in the bullpen in 2022 gets his first postseason start and was nails in his outing. So he was able to see that. I think that was the biggest thing for him. Moving on to the memories in Houston, quote, 100%. I have a family now raising our son here in Houston, Texas. It's been a lot. I came here when I was 21 years old, made my debut against the Yankees, been to the ALCS every year except for this one. It's been a fun time. I've cherished every second of it. It's been an honor to be here, and I definitely don't take it for granted. Someone had asked Bregman about, what he hoped on returning to the team next season. Quote, Bregman, I hope so. We'll see what happens. So, nothing but respect for what Alex Bregman did in an Astros uniform, as well as the other players around, his teammates. Justin Verlander said he has one of the best baseball IQs. Hunter Brown, Jose Altuve. This is where I want to get to it real quick with you. Jose Altuve, everybody was asking Altuve about Bregman because those two guys are third in postseason history to play with one another. Posada and Jeter and Bernie Williams. Alex Bregman and Jose Altuve are the third in postseason history with games together being played. So Jose Altuve, they had asked him about, what is the chance of this being Alex Bregman's last season? What you're thinking? And this is a quote from him. He's like, I don't want to get to the idea of thinking about the last game with Breggy. Like I said 2 weeks ago, I'm pretty confident he's going to be our third baseman next year. We have to. We're not going to be the same organization without him. In my mind, there's not a chance this is his last game. The guy he hits, he means a lot. He gave a lot to this organization. So now it's time for us, meaning the Astros, as a team, as an organization, to pay him back and make him stay here. Another quote, like I said, I'm pretty confident that Breggy is going to stay here. He's a leader. He's probably one of the best players in franchise history. So he deserves to stay here. A media person had asked him how devastating would it be if Bregman is not brought back. Another quote, heartbroken, just putting it on my mind. I can't play with him next year. I told him, I said when the game was over that he's coming back and now it's time to make it happen. End quote. There was another media person that had asked, well, would you talk to Jim Crane if the opportunity goes to him, to maybe try possibly getting Bregman back to Houston? And he said, for sure, yes, I would. So hearing your franchise player that you just signed before the season started express himself about a player that he's been playing next to since 2016. I feel like that puts a lot of pressure on the front office, puts a lot of pressure on the GM, Dana Brown, puts a little bit of pressure on Jim Crane. Real quick to give what's going to be the start for the contracts for third baseman. Sorry about that. Matt Chapman just signed a contract 6 years to $151 million with the Giants. Is this the year that the Astros pay a guy $200+ million?
Well, if they're gonna want to sign Bregman, I mean, they're gonna have to, because I don't think, knowing that Chapman signed for that much, I don't think Bregman will sign for a penny less. I just don't see it happening. I think Matt Chapman and Alex Bregman are a little like up there together, like the defensive wizards. I think Alex Bregman has a little better bat than Matt Chapman, so that's his advantage, Bregman there. But I mean, they're gonna have to. And when you're, like you said, when your franchise player is wanting this guy back, you have to at least attempt. Like, I will be really shocked if the Astros don't at least attempt. If they can't sign him, fair. I'm sure a team like the Diamondbacks, who don't know what to do with Eugenio Suarez, the Mariners that may need a third baseman. I wouldn't even be surprised if the Rays, or like a high spending team that needs a third base, because there's gonna be a lot of suitors. But I do expect the Astros to make a run at Bregman. Yes, Scott Boras is his agent, but they do have like a pretty good relationship with, like the Astros front office had a pretty good relationship with him too. Like Dana Brown too, they kept in touch as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if it happens, but
Mhm.
they're gonna have to spend the money to do so.
You got the train going right now. It's not the train station. I guess this is
Ye-
called news for the train station still,
Yeah,
um, but yeah, when you like I said, when you got your franchise player Jose Altuve getting to the front office and telling them like, "Hey, man, we got to sign this guy." Like this guy means that he just said on that quote he could be the best franchise in this organization in history. Think about that. Like that's a lot to say, knowing Jose Altuve, honestly, in my opinion, is the greatest Astro in that franchise. Over Biggio, over Bagwell. But him saying that about Bregman, I honestly do not. I don't think I've seen. This is my second year being around the Astros. With the players, but I've never seen anything I've read about Jose Altuve being so vocal on a specific player. I've never saw that with George Springer. I've never saw that with Carlos Correa, who's the guy that's literally on the right side of him, double play partner, great friends. I've never seen that about him. It's like you've never seen it, and him being very vocal, talking to the media, telling them that I'm confident that Alex Bregman is going to wear an Astros uniform next year. Honestly, that does put a lot of pressure on the front office. Does it happen though? My question to you now is, will this happen, and will there could be a possibility that he hits 200? I believe I said, if I'm not mistaken, the max that he'll sign, like his contract would be 200 million. Would you, I mean, this is a two-part question. Would you give him 200, and do you think the Astros will resign him?
you've asked me this question before,
Yes.
and I've said no, not 200 minutes.
Yes.
However, looking at what he did this season, yes, it wasn't the greatest season for Alex Bregman. He started off poorly. I don't think you'll get 2019 Bregman. Maybe he does, right? But
Yeah.
I think those days are not long gone. I think he'll be a productive third baseman. But what he did in the playoffs, like I said earlier, I think every time he stepped on every time he stepped at home plate, I thought Astros fans confused something great was going to happen just because of the great at bats he put in, the intensity in his eyes, the you felt that he wanted to get a hit every time, and he had a chance to get a hit every single time. And I think based on the leadership that he provides, your franchise player vouching for this guy, I think you have to pull the trigger. I think it's possible. I'm gonna say yeah. I think it's possible.
So, and I'm sorry about that. Real quick, I was looking at free agent third basemen next year. It'll be Alex Bregman, Gio Urshela, who's currently playing with the Braves, Eugenio Suarez, and Johan Makata both got club options with their teams. Which I don't know how the Diamondbacks are going to play this
Mm-hmm.
out, because Eugenio, as his name is called, 30 home runs and 100 RBIs this season.
I mean, pretty great season there.
That is a great season. So that kind of like makes it like, man, do we pull the trigger on him, or do we actually go test free agency? And like you were mentioning, the Diamondbacks might want to take a gamble and try to go get Bregman. So if they don't get Bregman, what makes you think they'll try to get a Eugenio?
Especially with the DH. I mean, one of them could be. I'm sure.
That's true.
Like both Eugenio and Bregman are pretty good defensively, honestly. And like I know you read an article about him Suarez, but both of them are pretty good defenders. But you still had that DH. You can platoon them a little bit, stuff like that. So it'd be possible they go for both.
So for my opinion on the contract, I could see him actually being the first Astro, and I said this about Tucker. But as of right now, and then especially listening to what Altuve was saying, if you're the front office, you that's your main priority, I think, after this offseason, is trying to find a way to bring back Alex Bregman. I think that is going to be your number one priority. Of course, you'll have the pitching of, we'll talk with the free agent, the offseason here in a second, but I think your main priority now, especially after, and I've already said this about, like, sound like a broken record already, but Jose Altuve saying that, I think you got, like you said, make an attempt at least. But even Dana Brown had mentioned What did he say his first year in his first offseason, what he was going to try to do for the Astros?
Re-sign Bregman and try to keep Framber Valdez and Kawasaki.
No, the two guys. Re-sign Jose Altuve and
re-sign
Alex Bregman. That was his mission, to get both those guys to stay in Houston for the rest of their career. They have the chance to do it, but like you were mentioning, there's other teams. There's other suitors out there that are going to go and try to get them. Boston Red Sox is another team to watch out for as well. Alex Cora, 2017 bench coach for the Astros. Mark Wahlberg with his municipal brand. I'm just, I'm not saying that they're best friends and all that shit, but I'm just saying, they got a connection there. So you never know what that can happen. But
let's jump the gun on this one, because I know we're going to talk about this later, but let's talk about the needs for the Astros this offseason a little bit. So you have Alex Bregman, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you pay Alex Bregman $200 million, right, that takes care of your need of third base. Because if they lose Alex Bregman, third base is going to need, right?
Yeah.
What do you do with first base? What do you do? I'm sure, like, looking back again, like looking at this season, in my opinion, they need a first baseman.
Mm-hmm.
They need a starter, and probably another reliever.
Yeah.
Now,
I agree.
If all that money goes to Bregman, though, which fair, he deserves it. Like I'm not saying he doesn't, right? Who do you get? Because I mean, they're paying Hader, they're paying Altuve, they're paying Javier, they're paying Jordan. And then they'll be paying Bregman. What do you do with those three needs there?
So real quick, let's already talk about. We'll move on to the offseason. Astros free agents already.
Yeah,
like you're mentioning. Alex Bregman, Justin Verlander, Yusei Kikuchi, Hector Neris. Those are the four. Like I would say that them are the guys that really helped out this season for the Astros. Ryan Presley has a vesting option, $2 million buyout if he wants to buy out. The option vests with 15 appearances in each 2023 and 2024. He already did that. 23, he had 65 appearances, and in 24, he had 59 appearances. So if the Astros do go get Alex Bregman, like let's say they re-sign him. First base, well, look, this is what the free agents look like for first base. Paul Goldschmidt, Pete Alonso, Anthony Rizzo, Josh Bell, Christian Walker, Wilmer Flores, Carlos Santana, Joey Gallo, Ryan O'Hearn, Yuli Gurriel. Paul Goldschmidt, after the Astros kind of did what they did, even though he's a Woodlands boy, that contract for Jose Abreu, look how that turned out for the Astros. It didn't really pay well for them. So I highly doubt Goldschmidt would be a guy. Pete Alonso is going to get paid.
Yeah.
Anthony Rizzo has a club option. So it depends on the Yankees if they want to let him go and be a free agent. Just depends on to see what they're going to do at first base themselves. If they let him go, that could be a possibility. Josh Bell, 32 years old. He'll be a free agent. Christian Walker, that guy I think is going to get paid as well. They had really good seasons. Wilmer Flores is a guy that you could put really throughout the whole infield. He's a utility man, but plays first base. Carlos Santana really had a decent season with the Twins.
He's like what, 41?
38.
Oh, okay.
Joey Gallo, 30 years old, but we've seen the numbers on him. Ryan O'Hearn isn't a bad hitter, I would say, so that could be a possibility, but that does come with a club option. Very intrigued to see what the Orioles do in that situation because they got some talent in the farm. And Yuli Gurriel. Just don't see the Astros re-signing Yuli, 40 years old, which he is hitting the ball. I don't know if you've seen the game in the wild card series, but you would have to find a low-end player on that end.
Now, as you've been kind of seeing the sellers market and stuff like that, there really is no low-end player. Like honestly, like if the Astros don't want to be in the same situation they are right now, they're gonna have to spend some money. And even Ryan O'Hearn is gonna cost, I would say, no less than $5 million a year. So it's gonna be tough. And then with the extra free agents, Alex Bregman, Justin Verlander, you can't have both luxuries. And I would say if you're gonna choose one or the other, it's gonna be Alex Bregman because Justin Verlander is gonna want to get paid. Like he said, he's still not done. Like he's still not ready to hang it up.
Yeah.
I don't see him in an Astros uniform again just because injuries and in place apart. Like I said, I wouldn't be surprised he goes to the Tigers. I think they can
go on. Honestly, that was a great. That was a great one. You said.
I think they can benefit that club. Honestly, now they have something to work with. Yusei Kikuchi.
Yes.
I think that's a guy that they could resign without breaking the bank. Hector Neris, that's gonna be a tricky one because he wanted to get paid. Got paid by the Cubs. They released him. Maybe you can work out a deal with Hector Neris that doesn't cost you too much, but having Rafael Montero,
as I was gonna say too,
in the same bullpen, I'm sure that's gonna be you got him, this like pay up here, so it's gonna be kind of tricky on that one. But I'd say, would you consider it a good offseason if the Astros bring back Alex Bregman and you take Kikuchi only?
Yes, 100%.
Now,
I honestly think that is a great offseason for them because, like you said, the additional needs. You got Alex Bregman, and then if you sign Kikuchi, let's say we've talked about this too, a 2-3 year deal. Framber Valdez is a possibility that he walks next season because isn't it next season that he's a free agent, if I'm not mistaken?
Who?
Framber Valdez.
Yes.
Okay, so you'll have Kikuchi, and then honestly, you're putting your chips on the table for Hunter Brown to be
Spencer Urquidy too.
Yeah, Spencer Urquidy. Reminder too, you got Christian Javier coming back. If everything goes well in his rehab process, you got Jose Urquidy, JP France, Lance McCullers Jr., Luis Garcia. You got a lot of starting pitching depth, but having like a guy like Yusei Kikuchi that you've seen this second half, what he did, what adjustments he made, what he was able to do. You have a great chance of doing that. So getting those two, I think would be I wouldn't say it'd be an A+, but it's a mid-tier A- B+ for me.
Okay. And like if they can somehow get like a Ryan O'Hearn without breaking the bank, I'll say A+ there. Now you did see a lot of rookies come up this year. A lot of rookies play a really great part. Obviously, 3 of them are not with the Astros organization anymore, but you still have guys like Shea Whitcomb, Zach DeZenzo. How confident are you that Zach DeZenzo could maybe solve their first base problem? I know he's playing a lot of third base, but I mean, I'm not comparing Zach DeZenzo to Miguel Cabrera, but I mean, like you see Miguel Cabrera transition from third base to first base. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. third base to first base too. I mean, it's a very common switch from the corners, switching corners.
Corner to the other corner.
Yeah. So, I mean, that can be some option. I'm not saying John Singleton played bad. I mean, he did great, but they missed a bat in this postseason. I think having another bat, another one that, because shout out, I mean, Jason Hayward was another guy that had great at bats this offseason. I think we forgot to mention that, but like having another bat in that lineup is gonna be crucial because, like you said, Kyle Tucker can't do everything. Or Alvarez playing with an injury can't do everything. So it's just gonna be that one more offensive piece that can help you out in the bottom end of the lineup.
Yeah, and then I got the full list of the free agents, like of everybody. Kendall Graveman's a free agent. I thought he had a year, but I guess he doesn't. Jason Hayward's a free agent. Caleb Ferguson's a free agent. Ben Gammel's a free agent. So I don't see none of those guys coming back. Maybe Ben Gamel. Maybe. That's what I said. But also you can work out trades. You can, not everything has to be about money and signing. You can also do some type of trade. You saw what the Astros did with Sugarland. The Sugarland Space Cowboys winning the AAA championship. A lot of players were pissed off in that. I don't know if you saw some articles on that. Seeing their feedback on how everybody views the Astros farm system. But yeah, you never know what can happen. But I will say, for me, if you do re-sign Alex Bregman and you do re-sign Yusei Kikuchi, that is a successful offseason. You're in. What did you say? I didn't get to hear you're in on that. What was yours?
No, yeah. I agree with you. I feel like if Alex Bregman and Yusei Kikuchi are the only signings, it's also like I think it's a good one. I'll say like a B+ for sure. Now, like if they can get, like I said, like a Ryan O'Hearn at first base or a cheap first baseman that's going to put us to value, I would say an A on that end.
Yeah, starting pitcher too. I would like the Astros to kind of like look at that. A lot of free agent pitchers that are not
Now,
bad.
what the Astros should have done is kind of pull the San Francisco Giants hand and worked out a deal where you say Kikuchi before the season ended. I think that would have been a little cheaper than testing the offseason.
Well, I don't think Kikuchi was gonna
No.
do that either. I think he was gonna listen to his options as well. But I mean, real quick, this is a little sample size. I know this is gonna be the offseason topics, of course, when we're talking about our offseason. But Justin Verlander, Max Scherzer, Garrett Cole has an opt out. Blake Snell, player option, which he'll probably test free agency. Patrick Corbin's a free agent. Robbie Ray has an opt out as well. Charlie Morton, which I honestly think he retires. Lucas Giolito, Nathan Uvalde, Frankie Montas, which he has a mutual. Michael Walker has an option. Corbin Burns, Max Fried, Sean Manaea, who had a decent season with the Mets. He has a player option. Jack Flaherty, Kyle Hendricks, Shane Bieber, Luis Severino. So there's a lot of great starting pitchers in this free agent class this coming offseason.
Yeah.
There are a lot of big names, but at the same time, too, you don't want to grab a Shane Bieber, which only 29 years old, coming off Tommy John. Like, I don't think you're going to pay little money for him. He's obviously going to have a big contract negotiation for him. But, you know, some of these other guys, Jose Quintana could be another one. Nick Martinez. There's a lot of pitchers out there, what I'm trying to say, this coming offseason that the Astros could look into. Because like we've mentioned before, you can have a lot of pitching. There's not enough pitching. You need pitching in the postseason.
It's a long season. Injuries happen.
And it showed in this season, especially. It showed us, especially in this season for the Astros.
Especially with that pitch timer, inconsistent baseball, as you could say too. It's a grind. It's a grind for all these pitchers. But I think that's pretty much it. I think like around the horn, all I had was Detroit eliminated Houston and Casey eliminated Baltimore. Was there a final in that Mets game?
I think the Brewers came back. I got a little notification from MLB. And this is an MLB notification. It says, what a comeback. On the brink of elimination, Brewers pulled up epic win thanks to Jackson Chirio's second home run and Garrett Mitchell's winning Tater.
I was just telling you right before recording, Jackson Chirio, stud.
20 years old.
Yeah. Milwaukee scored 3 runs in the bottom of the 8th to take the lead. So, yeah. 5-3 Brewers. So, that game's still going on. Padres are beating the Braves 5-2 right now. So, they're at brink of elimination. But crazier things that happen, as you can see with the Brewers game. So, just got to wait and see on that one.
Yeah, you saw it with the Astros, too. At a 3-2 lead?
2-1 lead.
2-1 lead. Sorry about that. Yeah. So it's postseason baseball. Gotta love October baseball, period.
Yeah. But another year in the books.
Another season in the books. New font, new everything. We're going to change it up a little. We could leave it the same, but yeah.
So so thank you for listening to Full Steam Ahead. Thank you to R. Skinner for giving us the opportunity to be in the press box, clubhouse, on the field for giving you the best content. And I think we're gonna take a break till after the World Series. But keep in touch during the off season. Like we'll be giving you there. Just a little break for us, but we'll be continuing giving you the best Astros content there. And we appreciate all the listeners, all the faithful listeners, and it's just a little break. We'll be back.
Yeah, so then, like he said, yeah. I mean, we maybe missed about 3 or 4 or 5. I'd say under 5 series we've missed this whole season.
I think it was 4, 3, maybe.
I know this month itself. I think we missed 2. The Angels won.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And then there's one more. So
it was a grind.
It was a grind. There was a grind, and we do this not for just us. I mean, we just do it for y'all. We do it for the audience, the fan base of the Houston Astros. We're trying to give y'all the best content in the Astros organization. Like Angel said, being in the clubhouse, talking to the players, doing these interviews, getting the access. Asking a huge shout out to them. Make sure you go check out their stuff with the stories. And me and Angel, we write the stories. Like he mentioned, he just did one on Winto Perez from the Detroit Tigers. We'll have more on that throughout the whole season. Basketball season is going to come. We do more than just baseball. So heads up on that. Even at the end of the day, the Astros season does come to an end. Tomorrow, we'll have to see if they do something. Maybe the Astros, because usually, like after the teams get eliminated, I know the Red Sox did this. They talk to the coach, they talk to like the GM, all that stuff. So I don't know what the Astros will do. We'll keep y'all in touch, but continue to follow us and look at the coverage that we have. Hit that subscribe button on YouTube, on the social accounts that we have, Twitter, FSA Full Steam Ahead on Instagram, TikTok. Just continue to listen to us on Spotify and Apple Podcast as well. Like Angel said, we're probably going to take about a good, maybe a month since the World Series. I'm pretty sure the World Series ends in November.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll take a good month off. Of course, we always have an itch to come back and do it on the mic, but we're going to take our time and relax for this season. I mean, baseball season is a grind. 162 games in a season. Jesus.
Very long.
But you love this game, and we love giving everybody the info, the best coverage, the best content, the best stories, everything we do, not just for us, but for everybody here.
Final piece.
The final piece from Angel. Until then, y'all listen to the episodes. Go get that subscribe button. Go read the articles that we do with the Astros and other players as well. But we'll talk to y'all soon. Month break. See who's going to win this World Series. After that, we'll get into the good nitty-gritty talk of the offseason for the Astros. What's the needs? We already kind of gave you we already gave you kind of a little sneak peek on that. But till then, y'all have a safe, blessed day, and we will talk to y'all soon.